Welcome to Where Clay Meets Yarn.
Hi everyone, I'm Charan from Creative with Clay.
And I'm Nancy Torrance from Schmutzarella Yarns. And this is our new podcast. Yay!
I know. It is interesting that we are recording this so the world can know what we do behind closed doors.
Oh, no, that does not sound right.
No.
Behind the scenes?
Behind the scenes.
We're off to a great start.
Yeah. This gives an idea to people what they might expect.
Yep. If you've tuned in this far, great. Thanks for being here.
Yes. And I think we need to give people a history of why we are chatting or why we know each other at all. Like,
that might be nice.
Yeah. I'll go first because my memories of first chatting with Nancy or encountering her yarn was at a trunk show. And I was visiting and I saw her yarns because Nancy dyes yarns and she hasn't mentioned that. I was like, oh, these are cool colors. And of course, I picked up something orange and Nancy probably remembers what colorway it was.
It was Syndrome.
Yes, it was Syndrome. And I knit a Stephen West shawl from it. And one of my aunt who was visiting me just decided to gift that shawl to herself. But it was a wonderful yarn. And that's the first time I met Nancy several years back.
Oh, yeah, that was a while ago now, like at least 5 years or something.
Maybe more, because
I feel like it's been more than that.
Yeah, I think I would say 7 years or so.
Oh, it's got to be more than that because I've only been in my apartment now for 4 years, and that was well before I moved.
Yeah, and I started knitting only 8 years back, so I think it was a year or so after that.
Okay.
So I would
We've
say
known each other a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is definitely when we met. I had seen Charan's work, his mugs, at the shop that I had at the trunk show at for a while. And I remember I was doing my trunk show there that day, and the manager at the time came running up to me. Nancy, Charan's here and he's looking at your yarn. And I'm like, who's that? Because I had no idea.
Don't care.
I had no idea what his name was. And she's like, the guy who makes the mugs. And I was like, oh, hot damn, I want to meet Charan because I admire his work quite a lot. So we went over and we chatted. And of course, the orange yarn. It was... Syndrome is inspired by the bad guy from the first Incredibles movie. That was a black and orange and blue and white colorway.
Yes.
And it's one of my favorites. I should really dye it again.
Yeah, I had paired it with like a deep teal blue solid colored yarn, and I knit a Stephen West shawl out of it. So it was fun. Fun to knit with and wonderful colors. So yeah, we kind of mostly then chatted on and off either at trunk shows and online.
We really became friends though when we started hanging out in the same spin group.
Yes.
That's why my favorite Charan mug is the spinning mug, because he's my spinning friend.
Yeah, you lucked out with those spinning mugs. I think
I got the very last one, right?
Yes, you did. Because I believe Laura also has from Knit Girls. That's her favorite mug too, and every time she does a live Instagram post or anything, she always talks about that mug of mine, and she always claims, yeah, but he's not making them anymore. And I remember we had just gotten back from Stitches last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you asked me that, you're like, do you happen to have one of the, hand-spun pattern mugs, and I was not making them anymore, but I still had one mug which wasn't glazed. So I asked you, I said, okay, if you want it, I'll glaze it in the color of your choice, and that's the last one that's going out. So
And then
that
I
was
was a
it.
butt and didn't tell you what color.
Yeah,
It
and
was
I
like
think I
whatever
just
color you feel like.
so it was blue.
Yeah.
And yeah, and in fact, actually, this morning I realized I still had the small dishes I make with the handspun
Mhm.
yarn pattern, and I had few of them left, and they were listed on my website as limited supply, and somebody purchased two of them, and I went down to check. I was actually completely out of them.
Oh no.
I've,
Oops.
I've, I did have two of them, but there were two of them were in gray, and I kind of don't want to send somebody two gray colored ones unless that's what they want. I usually just send, a random two
Yeah.
mixed colors. So I send them a note. I'm like, okay, these are the only two left, and I'm not making them anymore. Would you like these two, or just swap it for something else? So I'm waiting to hear back from them.
It seems like
But
a good
yeah,
solution.
yeah, sometimes, it just gets hard for me to bring back old patterns. And yeah, but
So
the
speak.
stockinette mug stays. So that continues.
Yeah. Speaking of stitches,
Mhm.
that was Stitches West, February 2020,
Yes.
was when we really became friends because we'd been hanging
Yeah.
out in our spin group before then.
Yeah. Before
But
that, we were just pretending to be friends. So
yeah, we were friendly acquaintances or something. I don't know. You were still
yeah.
my friend. But we decided to carpool to Stitches together, which, I mean, when you commit to a 14-hour car trip with someone
14 to 16 hour. Yeah.
and then carpooling every day there and 14 to 16 back, that's
Yeah.
when you decide whether or not you really like someone.
Yeah.
And, we had a great time. It was really fun.
Yeah. It was a fun trip. I don't think we even turned on the radio or music at
Mm-mm.
any point because we were just so chatty throughout the trip.
Well,
And
yeah,
we
I
just
got in
went
the
there.
car and it was like, so Charan, tell me your entire life story.
So it
It's
was,
great.
yeah, my entire life story is in like 40 to 50 hours of going back and forth and back and forth and everything. And then, yeah, and then when we got back, you live like an hour and half away from
Yeah,
me.
about.
So so we are not really local to meet on a regular basis.
No.
So video chatting is what we have resorted to.
Yeah. And for the past year and a half or so, we've chatted 2 to 3 times a week, just sort of our
Yes.
regular check in. And our friends, one, think that that's kind of hysterical that we're still doing that. And
We did
two,
reduce from 3 to 2 times a week because we just couldn't stand each other that much eventually.
that's not true. You decided you wanted to have other friends or something. You wanted to talk to other people on the internet, whatever. Um, but I don't know about you, but I always got questions of what do you guys even talk about? And just stuff in life and crafts, and because
Yeah.
we're both into fiber arts and we're both small business owners, and it's been good having the support for the past chunk of time. And one of our friends in our group that we both belong to, I don't remember if she said it in the group or just to me, but was like, you guys should have a podcast if you talk that often. And we were like, hi, you're funny. And then we actually started thinking about it and talking about it. And here we are.
Yeah. And so today Nancy just decided to press the record button essentially.
Hey, you
So
pressed record before me. It's all
I
on
did
you.
because
This is your fault.
Because I might be doing the editing, which might be really bad. So I'll just admit to that this is not going to be one of those very refined podcasts where everything is amazing, everything is, cleaned up and edited. This is just raw footage from our chats. This is what we chat. This is what we talk about, and you are welcome to spy in.
I really hope our lovely viewers have figured that out by now. If they've gotten this
I
far
hope so.
into the video, I feel like they've
Yeah.
picked up on that. But it's still nice to warn them.
Yes. So what have you been working on this week?
This week I've actually kind of been feeling under the weather.
Mhm.
So I haven't done a lot in terms of business stuff. Well, that's not true. I keep framing it as not work, but I've been working on samples while I've been hanging out. So the big thing that I've been obsessed with is Mando Bugs crochet along, the Lift Your Spirits crochet along, and this is clue 1 and a tiny bit of clue 2. I don't think you've seen it this far, have you?
I saw no. Oh, I can see the ghosts.
Ooh.
I like the shape of the mouth too.
Oh man, isn't that great?
It is really good. It's kind of freaky, very Scream.
Yeah. Now I stare through it. I love, and all of that is through shaping on the sides. I am really impressed with the design of this so far. It has been I have to be very focused when I work on it. Mm-hmm. It's not symmetrical. It's charted and written. I've been following the charts. And when I pulled it up, you see all the beads. There are so many beads on it. So I've been having to pay attention to that. But it's been a lot of fun.
And you told me they are glow in the dark, right?
Yeah. It's going to be great. So this is my birthday suit colorway on my sweet base. And in the next clue or so, I'm going to run out of the first skein. I still have so much yarn left in this first skein. But it's a pattern that calls for 5 skeins of yarn. I'm doing the big size. So once I finish this one, I'm going to start using my morphing minis. So it's going to fade to gray, and then it's going to fade to black. So I'm really excited about that. All with the glow in the dark beads. So that's mostly what I've been working on. I also spent a good chunk of the day yesterday making stitch markers for my Patreon subscribers.
Yeah, I saw those on your Instagram feed. Those look neat.
And I would show those off, but the color is secret until I ship them out. So they coordinate with the mini skeins that I ship as well. And we're working.
And what did I see on your Instagram feed? Didn't I see stitch markers, or just saw you working on them?
No, you saw the stitch markers, but it was a black and white photo.
Oh, okay.
So you couldn't see what colors they were, because they're always my chainmail stitch markers. So it's always the same style. That's not a secret. It was just the colors a secret. So that's what I spent most of my time doing this week. I also finished up my leaf coasters. And they actually blocked flat.
Oh, nice.
And they're a decent size. I'm really happy with them. They're made out of cotton and not my yarn, just some sugar and cream. When I finished knitting them, they were trying to curl up like a taco. So thank goodness for blocking. And I did totally get the right size, because it fits one of your mugs. Look at that. It has, I'm not going to tip it because I have hot tea in here, but it has just enough of a border that it fits really nicely. So I'm really happy with how these came out. I had to tweak the pattern a little bit to make it a little bit bigger. But we got there.
What pattern was it? Is it something on Ravelry, or you just made
It
it up?
was a free pattern on Ravelry. I don't remember the name of it at all, but I will look it up before this goes live, and I will put it in the show notes down below the video where that will exist eventually.
Yes, and yeah, we will try to put links of whatever we are talking about in the show notes. At least that's what the plan is. If you have forgotten anything, just mention in the comments. What we have been missing. I'd be glad to answer those questions.
Oh, and then obviously right now what I'm working on is just my plain vanilla socks in my Cunning Folk colorway on my sparkle base, which is super not going to show up on the camera.
Yeah, the sparkle just doesn't show up, but I have worked with your sparkle base and it's fun.
Yeah. So that is me in terms of yarny goodness. What have you been working on?
I had work to get done in the studio. Mugs, lots of mugs.
I saw your handles post.
Yeah, I was getting ready for Fiber Fusion. That was a fiber festival we were going to have mid-October. So I was preparing inventory for that. And right before I had prepared all the mugs to make, the clay prepped up, the slabs. My work is all hand built. So it's all from slabs. And I had all the slabs prepped up, ready to put the textures on. And we get the email that the show's been canceled. So I was like, oh, shoot. Now it's like, make the mugs without a real deadline. So it just kind of got extended a little bit further. But yeah, that's what I'd been working on. I also got a request from one of my Patreons to make a diz, which I've had in my shop for a while, but I didn't have a color that she requested. So I had to work on that. And I always think they are so small, so they're the least amount of work. And the smallest things are always the most amount of work. And they're still not done. I still have like a little bit of cleanup left, and then hopefully tomorrow I can fire the kiln. But yeah, that's the clay studio stuff, which just kind of keeps going around in the background.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I've been really distracted with, I shouldn't say distracted because I'm really enjoying it, is quilting recently. And I started quilting or got into quilting essentially last year, right? When we started chatting and it was like, let's do another craft.
Yeah, I talked you into trying English paper piecing.
Yeah, it started with the English paper piecing, which is still a project in progress, but I have been making some progress on it recently. So that was joining the hexes by hand, and tiny fiddly stuff again. I don't do very well with it, but actually it's going a lot better now. And then we did mystery quilt along.
That was last October.
That was last October. So yeah, and then I made 2 other quilts. And it's just been quite a lot of fun playing with another medium. And what I realized was, even though I enjoy, it was fun doing the precision seaming of stuff together, making your points meet and everything.
You did not think that was fun. Don't lie to the nice people.
I like that at the end of it, I achieved results which looked very nice and clean.
Okay.
I didn't essentially enjoy the process. True.
Yeah.
Means I was like, okay, can I do it? Yes, I can. It's fine. What I really had fun with was the back of the quilts, where I used all the scraps from the front of the quilt and did something fun at the back. And I thought what my style of quilting was like scrappy quilts. And then the more I researched about it, it's more like it's improv quilting, which I hadn't heard of before. And then the more I kept researching about it, I really got into it. And I think it was 2 weeks back or maybe 3 weeks back that I landed up finding a genome sewing machine, which is essentially for quilters. It's a Horizon one, which is a very expensive machine, but I found it at a garage sale for a very decent price with a table. It has a knee lift, a thread cutter, and all kinds of fun stuff on it. So I got that, and I also found improv quilting around the same time. So I've just, uh, deep dive in this new rabbit hole of improv quilting. And you want to see some pictures of what I have
Yes.
been working on?
Yes.
Let
I
me.
haven't seen the latest yet.
Oh, you haven't seen the latest.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
So this was one which I was working. So what I'm doing is essentially following some exercises from this book, Improv Handbook for Modern Quilters by Sherry Linwood. And I have joined her school, which is an online school called Brave Patch. And there are several exercises we go through, in order to get the whole quilting process going. And so this is one of them where it starts off with, you make a block that you really enjoy making and just make a lot of them. Don't cut with a ruler, just cut them freehand, and just keep joining them and making more and more of them. And I wanted to make half square triangles, and I made like 3 of them, and I got bored very quickly, so I cut them in half, and then I made these bow tie or hourglass kind of squares. And you can see some are rectangles, some are squares. And then I thought I would place them this way where they are spaced out and surround each one of them with a green window. And Nancy actually visited me, and we went shopping together to get that green fabric.
Yeah, that was the last time I really saw it, was that day.
Yeah. And then I kind of started combining those green borders together, and I was just going like, no, it's not making me happy. It's looking too predictable. It's looking too boring in a way, and I just couldn't visualize it. So then I thought, what I need to do is I need to just cut it up. So that's what I did. So what I did was
Your
I cut
willingness to
those.
just cut it up
Yeah,
is
I just
amazing.
I cut up those and I turned them basically into flying geese blocks.
Mhm.
And I then arranged them such that, they would make these zigzag lines, which I really liked. And I liked how, they were very fluid. And I said, okay, let me go ahead with this way and just kind of start joining these and see what happens. Um, I joined several of them, and most of them, they are all joined up together. The quilt is still not complete, it still needs work, but I changed something else after joining it. Did you see what I had done?
No,
I don't
what?
think you haven't,
No.
because I turned them on the vertical. And
Ooh.
they look like, a braid of hair or curls in a hair, or
It reminds me of those wind
Mhm.
decorative, the
Yeah,
spirals that people
which
hang
with
outside of their
yeah,
house.
uh-huh.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I think it happened so is because when I started joining, the gray background, the sharp points of the zigzag got blunted up, so they kind of turned more into curves.
Yeah.
And I especially like how the tail end of them kind of, became so soft and like it actually looks like a curl.
Yeah.
And so I really like how that came out. So these are pieced together, but they are not pieced to each other. So there is
So you
still a
still
lot of,
have you still have strips.
Yeah,
Each zigzaggy thing is its own column.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So I still don't know whether I'll keep it vertical. I have to see what the ultimate size of the quilt needs to be. And then vertical. If I want to, flip some of them the other direction, I don't know what I want to fill into the blank spaces. There's just like so many ifs and buts about it. And when I start joining them together, maybe things might change again. I might land up offsetting them and not have them all start at one point and end at the same point. So I don't know, but that's what the fun part about, the improv quilting is. There is no fixed pattern that I need to follow. I can just go with the feel of how I want to go about it. So
I'm not much of a quilter. I've dabbled with quilting, and we did that quilt along, which Charan finished his right away, and mine's still in pieces. I really like the precision quilting. I want the exact points. I like that sort of fussy work. I am not nearly as free-flowing as you are, but I am loving watching your progress with it and watching the steps change and flow. And this quilt in particular has been really interesting to watch since I was part of the Let's Find Green Fabric expedition, because I really liked what you were doing with it. And you started adding green fabric and you weren't digging it. I thought it was really cool. And then one day you messaged me and you're like, so I took all of the green fabric out. And I was like, no, it was really neat. But I think what you made from it is so much cooler. So I really enjoy watching it grow and not knowing what it's going to end up being. I couldn't do that. I'm too much of a control freak and that would stress me out. But I like that I get to live vicariously through you for it.
And you truly know that this was not in the plan. It's like whenever initially it started off, I told her, I'm making these blocks. I need to surround them with green or some other color. They said, yes, green would look good. We went to the store, got the green fabric. And it's like how it goes from being a certain kind of a thing that you picture in your head to something completely different is really the journey of this kind of quilting. And I kind of miss it in clay work because my clay work has gotten a lot of that repetition, that I'm making the same kind of mug and everything. So what's exciting to me is always making the new pattern and the textures for my mugs. But like if somebody told me, okay, make something from all the scrap pieces of clay that came out from making the mugs, like that would be the challenging part. So this is kind of like that. It's like trying to make and all the fabric that has been used in this is all from scraps that I got from friends. There is no fabric that was purchased in this blue purple quilt. It's all scraps. So and small pieces of scrap. So it was like based on what the piece size of the scrap was, that's the size of block I got. I couldn't measure things and precisely cut anything.
It's so cool.
So it's a fun process. We'll get you on the dark side eventually.
Never. Never.
All points have to meet.
Okay, so here's my example of why that is not me. Aside from my entire life and stories that you know about me. Literally today, I went through why I'm the exact opposite of this. Okay, let's roll this back. I adopted my cat, Gomez, when he was kitten almost 4 years ago. In November, it'll be 4 years. And before that, I had an apartment to myself. I had just moved in that spring. And I was starting to go through this whole, I want to decorate my apartment with crafty things for the holidays. And in September, October, I'm really into Halloween and I got the Halloween vibe. And I was like, I want to make this really cool Halloween wreath out of, it's one of those felt sequin kits. And so I started working on it. And I didn't get very far at all. I'd cut out a few pieces. I had attached some of the sequins. And then I adopted an 8-week-old kitten. And I was like, oh, that's not a good combination. So I packed it up and I put it away. Today, out of nowhere, I was like, you know what? I really want to work on that. So I dug it out. And Charan,
Oh, goodness.
I am so proud of myself because you know me, you know I can't find anything ever. But look at this. It was all
it's in its box.
in its own box. All of the pieces were there. Everything's together. I took everything out. I laid it all out. All the colors are there. All the sequins are there. Everything. But you know what was missing? The instructions. And like, I don't know if the camera's going to pick up the markings on it. It's a wreath, and it's pretty straightforward. So like, this is the background of it. Yeah, you can see.
Nice.
You see how many shapes are there, and it's like it says number 4 is there, and you put a circle there. Well, number 4 is the moon.
Okay.
And you tack it on where the circle is. This is not rocket science. I could totally improv it. I could totally make it up as I went. But instead, because
I want the instructions.
I want the instructions because I still might do my own thing with it, but I wanted to know when I'm supposed to stuff it because some of the pieces get stuffed, and how I'm supposed to attach them together. And like, I have this big container of these white clear beads that aren't showing up on camera at all. But you can hear there's quite a bit of them in there. I have quite a bit of black beads. But then I have this one container that has like literally 10 orange beads in it. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with those? Where do they go? I don't want to use them in the wrong place.
There is no wrong place. Wherever they feel right.
There's a wrong place. And I knew there was. So I hopped online. One of the kits, one of the pieces of felt has the kit number on it. And so I went to Plaid's website, which owns Busilla, and that's the company that makes this. And I emailed them and I'm like, hey, can I get an extra copy of the instructions for this kit? I figured I'd hear back from them in like a week. And then because I bought this 4 years ago, they'd tell me, no, it's an old kit, go away. They emailed me back within half an hour with the PDF of the instructions.
Oh, goodness.
I'm so happy. So now
that you know where the orange beads go.
Now I know where the orange beads go. They go on the little, look at the little bats. They're the eyes for the little bats.
Yeah. See, if it was me, I would be like, okay, I need the instructions to know where they're supposed to go and where I would like them to go.
That's the thing. I still might do it differently, but I needed the instructions to know what the designer wanted me to do. And now I can take it and do my own thing. But like, it had helpful things on it. Like, obviously cut out the wreath first and put on all of the sequins, which the sequins were about half done on here, and the embroidery was done on here when I pulled it out. Today, I finished the sequins on that, and I added the sequins around the moon. But it wants me to, there's 2 pieces of the moon. All of them are like little pillows. So I need to stuff it, sew it together, and then you can see, can you see? There's the little feet embroidery. The bat goes on here. Ooh, that all gets attached, and then you attach it to the wreath. So that means all of my pieces are together, but it tells you which order to do it in so that it's layered properly. Because what I was thinking was I would have to cut out all of the things, try to match them up, and at the end have all of these little pieces that I have to figure out how to put together in what order. And So I'm really happy I have instructions. But
Cool.
yeah, that's like the exact opposite of improv quilting.
Yeah.
But it was still a
is.
happy ending. They sent me the thing. It was great.
Yeah. I rarely follow a pattern for anything though. Sometimes I do. Knitting patterns I usually do. And talk about knitting, that's what I'm working on. I'm working on one of my hats. Believe it, it's a hat. It's it
The
looks like
funniest
the
looking
sock
hat.
for a giant, but it's a hat. It's the Musselburg.
I think I've heard it called
Musselburg.
Musselberg, but
Okay, that pattern. And it's basically going to be double layered. So it's a fun, easy stockinette in the round. You start, you know, at the bottom there, increase your stitches there, and keep going on. And then you reduce them and then turn it inside out and just have two layers together.
that's cool. It's going to be nice and warm and cozy.
Yeah, and I'm knitting this out of some of my hand spun, which is from Into the World, which is a bunch of her random minis. And my mom knit a sweater with it,
That was
and this
so
is the
pretty.
remaining yarn from it. So
If you're able to in the minimal editing, you should put a picture of your mom's sweater here.
Oh yeah.
Pretty. You should show that thing off.
Okay.
The people would like to see it. Yeah, I'm really enjoying watching that hat grow. Do you still, how much yarn do you have left? I know that you were really worried about running out at one point. Oh, just a little tiny bit. But that looks like that should be plenty to finish it, right?
Yeah, and I should be finishing it now. Otherwise, it's just going to be too long. It's like I'm too lazy to pull out the measuring tape and the pattern to see how long I should be knitting this. I just pick it up every time and I go like, oh, there's still some yarn there, so I might as well just keep knitting it. Because the thing is that if it is too long, you can still fold up and make it into a brim or make it slouchy, which is how I usually like my hats. So there is a lot of like flex room in the pattern as well. So it's just that it's going to be super extra warm the more I keep folding it and slouching it. And
yeah.
instead of going from just a single layer, it's already a 2-layer hat. It's going to go to a 4-layer hat.
That sounds lovely though.
So warm. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. You'll have a nice warm hat.
Yeah, I might gift it to someone. I don't know.
Really?
I have so many hats too. So, but I do like patterns like this where I don't have to sit and swatch as such. Langfield is another one of my favorites for that reason.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm wearing. It's great with handspun. This is commercial yarn, but yeah, I absolutely love patterns that I can just pick up the needle and start working on right away.
Yeah. That's really nice. I don't think I told you, I finally gave David his Langfield. I don't have a picture of it because I was going to wait until I blocked it to take pictures. Finally, I decided I didn't want to block it. And I am a firm believer in blocking. I block everything, especially hats, because it makes them relax. And I think that that's really important. I pulled it out of the bag one day.
And the Langfield in particular, because the Langfield actually is like a cuboid. Once you finish it, it's like this big rectangular cube of a thing.
Yeah, I really, see, if I hadn't made it too big, I would absolutely block it. But I also made it out of hand spun, and I made it out of, I think it was BFL. And it was a 3-ply, and it was kind of drapey, and it was really squishy and lovely. And I'm afraid of it growing when it is blocked. I think it's going to be too big once it gets washed. So I gave it to him, and it has enough drape that the cube shape relaxes a bit, so it's fine. And he likes it as a beanie. So once he folds up the brim and it's tighter to his hat, you lose that cube shape, which is good. Or tighter to his head, words.
Now, is it superwash BFL or?
It's just straight BFL. So it's not gonna have the superwash drape. It's just it already has. It's already so loose. It already has the BFL drape. I didn't knit it at a super tight gauge, so it has flow. So I gave it to him, and I'm like, okay, wear it, enjoy it, love it. This is what I'm worried about. Please bring it back to me when it's time to wash it. I will wash it. I will block it. I'll block it.
And we'll find a head for it.
Yes. We will figure it out then. But I decided I wanted him to enjoy it while it was still a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
Because I'm not taking it all out and redoing it. I would rather knit him another hat, because I would have to take it pretty much all the way out.
Yeah, that's the thing with the Langfield. It's like you can start off without knowing a gauge and everything, but you kind of need to know the point at which you're supposed to start joining and closing it up, because that's what determines, how tight it fits around your head. And the other measurement is how slouchy you want it.
Yeah.
So, but it works. Once you knit one, then you kind of get it. That's what I'm supposed to pay attention to.
Yep, I know what to do next time.
Yeah. I have knit several Langfields. I think 5 or 6 at least. And I've had people inappropriately touching my head at fiber shows without my knowledge, going like, "Oh, cool hat," and I'm like, "What?
Oh,
stop!"
No, no, that's not okay.
Yeah. So I particularly remember going to Vancouver, Canada for Knit City, I think. Is a show there. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And we were sitting having lunch on the picnic table outside, and there were people coming from behind just touching my head, going like, who's that? Then I go, nice hat.
No. It's not okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad that people liked your hat, but no touchy.
No touchy. But yeah, it's I have that going as far as knitting is concerned. And I'm also knitting on something else, which is a secret project, but I might share it eventually at some point. You're not going to tell
us about it now?
Huh?
You're not going to tell us about it now? I mean, I know what it is.
You know what it is.
Okay.
It's secret because it's a gift. So I'm still in two minds whether I want to talk about it. I will eventually, but
how far are you from progress last time? You still working on?
I'm pretty close. I would say I'm almost 70% done with it.
Cool. That's great.
So yeah. Any other fun things? You've been watching anything fun recently?
Oh, so like I said, I haven't been feeling well. So
there's a lot of Netflix.
There's been a lot of Netflix, and specifically when I'm not feeling great, I really like reality TV.
Oh goodness, no.
I binged all of the episodes available. There's still 2 that are coming out next week.
Available?
The Circle.
What's that? Oh, The Circle.
No, The Circle. Oh. Yeah, they've been putting up new episodes every week. So I watched 8 episodes in less than 24 hours. That was my current thing. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. This season kind of sucks, but that's okay. I watched it all anyway. It got me through. That's what got me through a big portion of the Clue 2 from the Crochet Along. And it got me through the last row and a half of my Queen of Hearts shawl, which I will share at a later date because it's almost done and you'll see it when it's done. But it's really long rows, a lot of double crochet. It got me through that. So that's the thing I've been watching. And then I've been watching movies, and I just watched Surf's Up today. Is that the name of it? The old penguin animated movie about surfing. I saw it when it came out. It was fun watching again today.
Yeah. Cool.
That's it. What about you?
I finally got caught up with episodes of Glow Up, which I thought I had seen, but apparently I hadn't. I had seen like 3 episodes of it at some point and then had stopped watching it. And so, especially when I'm busy in the studio, making a lot of mugs and things like that, that's when I like to watch these kind of competition shows, because I almost time myself with them.
Oh, nice.
That, there are only half an hour left. Like, I know what, they say half an hour left, and, in 5 minutes they are done with the half an hour, but it kind of gets me in that zone that, okay, need to get so many mugs done before the judges take your models and critique you. I just kind of like to play that game. But
I love it.
Yeah, but I did land up watching the first and second season. I think I still have only the finale of the second season left.
Okay.
So, but it's been good. I really enjoy the process, the colors, and it's such a creative outlet, and it's makeup. It's so temporary too. It's just so weird.
Some of those challenges, they put so much artistry into it and effort, and it is shocking to me how little time they have and the beauty that they make and the absolute temporary nature of it. That blows my mind.
Yeah. And I understand the temporary nature of things. Like, before, I used to decorate cakes just as a side thing, and that's what it was. You put so much effort into baking and making it taste good and then look good, and then you do all this decoration stuff on it and make it something totally different, and then it's like, oh, happy birthday, and then you cut it and you eat it up and they're like, that was delicious. It's gone.
See, at least you get food though.
Yeah, with the makeup thing, you don't even get to eat it. Though,
nope.
Some people are putting some really edible stuff on them. So,
yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels like the exact opposite of my artwork in dyeing yarn. It's, I would like to think that the yarn that I make, once I put color on it, it's permanent. It's always going to look like that, but then people take it and make things with it that I would like to think is going to last them forever. I want, heirloom quality things. I love when I've made my nephews toys and they get passed down, or there's still toys that they play with that I made them when they were babies. And I really love that. I love the permanent nature of the yarn. So I also did the cake decorating thing for a while. Never professionally, but I did decorate a wedding cake once. But I was always excited that I got to eat cake after, so I didn't mind the temporary nature of that.
No, in my case, I didn't even get to eat the cake because it was always made for someone else. Like, I like, initially, of course, when I was playing around, we got to eat the cake and stuff. But then this was back in India. So I was like decorating cakes. Like, people used to place an order for their kid's birthday or something. So I used to bake the cake and send it off, and I would get a phone call saying that it was delicious. Like, oh, you ate it.
You monsters, you ate the cake.
So yeah. So that's what. So yeah. So Glow Up is something I've been watching, and then the other thing which we have started watching is on a completely different serious note, is Mumbai Diaries, which is an Indian show revolving around some terrorist attacks which happened a while back. And it's like the behind the scenes of what happened in the hospitals and stuff, and the pressure
wow.
of people. It's intense. And yeah, I can take that kind of stuff only in small doses with all the other reality stuff,
Yeah.
thrown in there. So yeah, we've been
That sounds
it's
interesting.
been shot well and everything. So we do a little bit of watching of that. But yeah.
Well, neat. Well, if you're just about caught up with Glow Up, we're gonna have to start watching that together again, because we haven't
Yes,
watched
we
something
should.
together in a while.
Yeah, we will do that.
I'm excited too. They just added something to Netflix. Oh, I don't remember the name of it, but it's a competition show in a metal shop.
Oh,
So,
yes.
so I was thinking we should watch that after
Yeah, I
Glow
forgot
Up.
the name of it. Yes, but yes,
It's like Metal
I
Shop Magic or
yeah.
something like that.
Mhm. Yes, we should totally watch that.
I almost I put it on and I was like, the day that I watched all of The Circle, I was like, yes, a new show I can binge. And I put it on and I started it, and then I went, I should really watch this with Charan.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we
let's
do
go
this.
watch obnoxious reality TV instead.
Yeah. So Nancy and I watch Netflix part. Is it Netflix Party or Netflix Play, or what is it called?
It's not called Netflix Party anymore, but
Okay.
if you Google Netflix Party, you'll get
It
whatever it is.
Yeah. Basically, we can watch the same show synced up on our computers, and we can chat at the same time. So it's fun.
Sharon gets to enjoy all of my snarky comments.
Yeah.
Oh, if we're gonna watch if we're gonna watch Glow Up, this means you get to be subjected to me giggling every time what's her name goes ding dong.
Val. I think her name is Val. And
Val,
yeah, the ding dongs are a bit much. But
yep, it makes me giggle every time. So you have that to look forward to.
Yeah. Cool. So I think, are we done with this week's episode?
I think
if that's what we are calling this.
Yeah, we'll call it an episode. Before we go, I have to show you my diamond painting progress, because you haven't seen it.
Oh yeah. No, I haven't.
And I just got reinvigorated on it. I'm doing
the drills and chills.
Yeah, the drills and chills, which is diamond painters on Instagram and Facebook tag their things drills and chills during September and October for a chance to like win giveaways and stuff. But it's all Halloween fall themed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm doing one of a black cat. Look at how far it is.
That's amazing. And those are ears, right? The house and
the ears. You can have a double layer here. There's the cat.
Yeah, that's the cat.
So the one goes into the tree, and then this, I was thinking it was a bell tower, but all of these are bats. So I think that's a bat hanging there. That's what I've decided anyway. So I'm making good progress on it. I'm about not quite a third of the way done, I'd say. Yeah,
30% done.
So making good progress.
That's neat.
Yeah. So now I'm done. I think I've covered all of the things.
Okay. I'm sure I missed a bunch of things, but we should be back in another week.
Yeah. That's the plan anyway.
That's the plan. So if you people watching enjoy it, do subscribe.
Yes.
And feel free to comment on if you have any questions. We'll try to put whatever we talked about in the show notes. Subscribe to the channel, press that bell icon so you get notifications whenever we put a video up. And we might do some lives as well, right?
Yeah, we were talking about doing that. So make sure you follow us on our various social media platforms and such. We'll put links below as well so that you'll know when we're going live.
Yes. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye. What the hell's our name again? Oh, Nancy. I need to write this down and have it in front of me.